Fellows Program, 360,000 fantastic graduates applied within 1 week.
Hello and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello. Joining me from Lagos is Nginojan Adams. And of course, Benny is standing by with the business news segment. Benny, what do we have for the women in business?
Well, it's money, and it's about $50 million up for grabs for women in digital trade. You might be the lucky one, so stay tuned to get to hear the details.
Many thanks, Benny. And of course, Bade Adeleye is on Sport Update. Bade, there are feelers that the Super Eagles list is out.
You're very correct, Olajide. Super Eagles coach Eric Chelle this afternoon released the final 23-man list for the World Cup qualifiers against Rwanda and Zimbabwe. And as expected, it brought up loads of talking points.
All right, many thanks, Bade. We are keeping our fingers crossed. You remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website on nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. President Bola Tinubu has charged leaders of the Niger Delta area in that country under the umbrella of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, with the responsibility to broker peace in the lingering political instability in Rivers State. President Tinubu gave this task in the interest of peace and people of the state when he met leaders of the socio-political group in the State House. State House correspondent Musbaud and Wahab reports.
The roll call of the leaders from the Niger Delta area who thronged the State House summarily suggested the import of their mission. Traditional rulers, present and past political leaders were in the train. This is a delegation in search of peace. One of their states, Rivers, has been in political troubled waters for more than a year. And for that long, two political elephants in the state have been at loggerheads, and these leaders are calling for help to save the citizens who are seemingly at the receiving end.
This protracted conflict is a matter of grave concern as Rivers State is a strategic economic hub, particularly in the oil and gas sector, which we all know is the backbone of our national revenue. Any instability there has far-reaching implications, not just for the South-South, but for the entire country.
Yes, Niger Delta is the goose that lays the golden egg. But don't kill the goose. Otherwise, it means the golden egg permanently.
Inasmuch as the president agreed with the peace mission of a group, it took them on a memory lane of his intervention from the outset of the crisis.
We reached an agreement, written agreement. Both parties signed. Some leaders thought the governor of Rivers State was wrong to have signed, but they didn't implement. Where do we find ourselves today?
But then, with the matters running their course up to the Supreme Court, President Tinubu says the rule of law must prevail.
I have total confidence in our judiciary. But when the Supreme Court is spoken, that's it. Please go back home and help him implement those recommendations within the shortest possible time. Well, go back home and take charge of peace. And if you need me, let me know. People of Rivers State must not suffer for the democracy that we all put together. They will not. They must be protected.
The leaders have other important requests, including investments in security and infrastructure developments in their area, which the president promises to look into.
We are planning on economic opportunity in those areas, specifically to be able to build things. We are brilliant people. We can do things with our youthful population. we can achieve the greatest thing in Africa.
Meanwhile, the auxiliary bishop of Calabar, Bishop Christopher Nasseri, led a special prayer for the president and the prosperity of the nation. There was a minute silence for a late founding father of the Pandef who passed on recently, late Chief Edwin Clark.
May his soul rest in perfect peace.
From the State House, Musbah Dan Wahab, NTA News.
Ahead of the forthcoming Nigeria-Brazil strategic dialogue mechanism, Nigeria is now on a new growth trajectory, ready for investment across different sectors. Vice President Kashim Shettima, during an update meeting with relevant ministers and heads of agencies at the presidential villa, noted that this mechanism is part of government strategies to prepare for a better tomorrow. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
This meeting is part of preparation for Brazil's vice president, who is set to lead a delegation of top executives in the country's public and private sectors on a state visit to Nigeria for the second session of the Brazil-Nigeria Mechanism for Strategic Dialogue after over a decade-long break. And Vice President Kashim Shettima expressed satisfaction with the submissions of the real issues by ministers in the key sectors targeted for deliberations during the strategic dialogue mechanism slated for the later part of the year.
And the involvement of the ministers is absolutely essential because at a strategic dialogue meeting, it's you and I that will meet with the Brazilian vice president and his team. So there has to be some clarity, some strategic coherence, and a deep understanding of issues that will be tabled for discussion. And I have to confess that I was highly impressed by the grasp of issues by all our respective ministers, and we can leverage on several fronts.
The meeting stressed the need to leverage the huge opportunities inherent in the partnership between both countries to actualize Nigeria's vision across agriculture, culture and tourism, livestock production, and military technology.
The Brazilian population has a lot of interest in the content and culture and talent and just the creative industry that comes out of Nigeria. So we wanted to use that opportunity to expand that unity and that partnership that we're going to have under the MOU.
For us in foreign affairs, what is key is that it's been a long journey, and we are grateful to the Vice President finally having this thing come to pass.
The upcoming $1.1 billion Green Imperative project also exemplifies the depth of the relationship and its potential to revolutionize Nigerian agriculture through modernization and technology transfer. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Apart from validating ongoing bold economic reforms undertaken by the Tinubu administration, a recent commentary on Nigerian economy offered by Chatham House in its published article represents an unbiased indication of the renewed industry capacity of the country. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Adonsite, is in a chart with State House correspondents on the submission of the article, which describes the nation's economy as being most competitive under President Tinubu in the last 25 years.
It makes them more competitive relative to our neighbors, in particular in West Africa, and indeed the whole of Africa. So you have Nigerian manufactured exports turning up regularly now, and particularly under the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement.
And the federal government inaugurates an 8-man inter-ministerial committee on Africa and Global Festival Nigeria, AgloFest, in a bid to promote Nigeria's cultural heritage and economic diversification drive in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. While inaugurating the Inter-Ministerial Committee, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, states that the committee was approved by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the aim of diversifying Nigeria's economy from oil centrism to tapping into potentials in the nation's cultural gold mine to improve the nation's gross domestic product, GDP. Shegun Mohiosen, Director of Information and Public Relations, says the committee is headed by the government of the Federation and the Permanent Secretary as a member and a secretary with other members. And President Tinubu communicated the Senate seeking confirmation for the Nigeria Correctional Service and the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Independent National Electoral Commission. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has the details.
Correspondences from Mr. President.
In the letters read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, President Tinubu requests the Senate, in line with constitutional provisions, to confirm Nwakuche Sylvester Ndidi as the Comptroller General of the Nigeria Correctional Service, Professor Melvin Ayogu as board member of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and 4 resident electoral commissioners for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Senate has, in the meantime, reminded the Commission to conduct election to fill the 2 vacant seats of Anambra South and Edo Central senatorial districts in the Red Chamber, previously occupied by the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah and the current governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo.
Those 2 seats are hereby declared vacant, and we urge INEC to immediately conduct, in line with the Constitution, elections to fill those 2 vacancies.
Senate has also asked INEC to comply with the Supreme Court ruling of 19th November 2019 and restore Anocha North 2-state constituency in Delta State.
The delay in implementing the Supreme Court judgment undermines the rule of law, disenfranchising the people of the affected towns, and also denying them proper representation in Delta State House of Assembly.
The abolition or suspension of certain state constituencies across the country has actually deprived the people of proper representation.
Bill to establish Federal University of Agriculture, Darazo in Bauchi State, has passed second reading.
Agricultural education, knowledge, skills and extension services. This initiative will accelerate agricultural growth rate, enhance farmers' income, and generate employment in the sector.
Agriculture accounts for 70% of our employment and 40% of our GDP. So such an important sector, we cannot afford to relegate it to the background.
The Red Chamber has also passed the bill to establish Federal University Okigwe in Imo State. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The House of Representatives has set up an ad hoc committee to investigate latest cases of oil and gas pipeline vandalism across Nigeria. This move aims to stop further economic losses caused by these attacks on critical national assets. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikpen reports.
It is not the first time the House will investigate losses in the oil and gas sector. However, the latest probe into pipeline vandalism is considered crucial as the sector is the backbone of national economy.
In February 2025, Shell reported an oil spill near Port Harcourt caused by an overflow during pipeline flushing operations. Recurring pipeline breaches have led to extensive environmental degradation, loss of livelihoods, and substantial national revenue losses.
Lawmakers also kick against an increase in ATM charges with a resolution that the CBN should suspend the new policy.
Worried that the imposition of additional ATM withdrawal charges will further limit the financial inclusion of Nigerians by discouraging low-income earners from accessing bank services, thereby contradicting the CBN financial inclusion agenda.
Bringing up a matter of privilege on behalf of the Ebonyi State Caucus, Representative Igariwe requested the House to withdraw an order for investigating the alleged kidnap of an Igbo youth leader by the House Committee on Public Petition.
If we allow this to sit, it means the governor of Ebonyi State, my governor, will be dragged before this House. And Mr. Speaker, I'm sure that is bound to have very serious constitutional ramifications.
Is noted, and appropriate actions will be taken to see if there are any infractions on the motion or not. If there is, we take appropriate actions to actually rectify that.
The upgrade of a health facility in Gombe State was described as a significant step towards improving healthcare delivery at the grassroots.
I rise to express gratitude to the president of this country for graciously approving the conversion of a medical facility in Kumo to a status of a federal medical center, Kumo.
19 bills were introduced at Tuesday's plenary, while the House Committee on Finance also laid its report on the 4 tax reform bills for subsequent consideration by the House. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Nigeria has taken another bold step in strengthening its economic ties with China as legislators and stakeholders gather to unveil the Nigeria-China Sustainable Business Trade and Investment Summit. Ignatius Nkwor reports that the bilateral engagement focuses on charting a legislative course for ease of doing business in both countries in 2025.
It was a defining moment for Nigeria's business climate as the House of Representatives, Nigerian and Chinese business community converge to reshape the future of economic cooperation between Nigeria and its biggest trading partner, China. The Nigeria-China Sustainable Business Trade and Investment Summit is not just another diplomatic handshake. It is a strategic roadmap towards a more business-friendly Nigeria.
Our ultimate goal is to establish a feedback mechanism that informs a legislative agenda of ease of doing business.
A shift from outdated trade model to forward-thinking, technology-driven business ecosystem.
With trade volumes between Nigeria and China reaching over $23 billion, a call for a robust legislative framework has never been louder.
So that we can make a very big family to cooperate in Nigeria to make our Nigeria better and better.
Our reforms have not just focused on federal institutions, but have also extended to the states.
Bureaucratic inefficiencies and trade barriers have also impeded the seamless flow of business.
With 3 months into 2025, Nigeria is poised to ensure that its business environment is not only competitive, but also attractive to foreign investors. Ignatius Nkwor, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News. More reports when we return. Do stay with us. Thanks for being there. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Muhammad Ali Pate, says a viable healthcare system that addresses major health issues, including malaria in Nigeria, is central to President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda on health. The minister was speaking at the flag-off event for PVAC, a presidential initiative to enhance the local manufacturing and supply chain management for health commodities and supplies in the country. Professor Pate emphasized the importance of expanding malaria case management, improving access to quality medicines, and enhancing local drug manufacturing.
As we had our Rethinking Malaria effort last year in May, just about 10 months ago, one of the lessons that we took away from that is that we have to domesticate our efforts in the context of Nigeria. Part of it is affordability and quality of anti-malaria. We have 7 million graduates. Many of them are still looking for jobs. I saw that when we announced the Health Fellows Program, 360,000 fantastic graduates applied within 1 week.
Really here, Honorable Minister, to launch and flag off the NMEP PVAC program. As you know, this is actually a result of a meeting that you had several months ago with when you are reviewing the impact program. and you asked the World Bank and the NMP team to look at how they can partner and collaborate with PVAC in the areas that we're doing.
The presidential initiative for unlocking the healthcare value chain PVAC event is themed building the industry for a stronger malaria response and resilient healthcare. While the people of Gombe State, particularly Akko local government area, have shown their heartfelt appreciation to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for approving the upgrade of the General Hospital Kumo to the status of a federal medical center. Emmanuel Akila reports that in a thank you message to the President, Governor Muhammadu Inwa Yahaya describes how the upgrade will boost his administration's healthcare drive, especially at the grassroots.
After ensuring that every political ward in the state has at least a functional primary healthcare center, Governor Muhammadu Inwa Yahaya upgraded general hospitals in the 3 central districts of the state to serve as referral facilities. The upgrade of General Hospital Kumu, one of the 3, reaches the status befitting a federal medical center. Bayo Onanuga sent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's approval to Governor Muhammadu Inwa Yahaya, upgrading the revitalized hospital to a federal medical center.
Health challenges that are facing the people are enormous. So this edifice here, the one he built, which he handed over to the federal government to establish this hospital, I think it can accommodate this need.
The kind of infrastructure that was provided by the governor, that was why they became very, very satisfied and convert this general hospital to a federal medical center.
Mr. President, in his wisdom, he accepted the request of our boss, our leader, to adopt the multi-billion naira property.
The people, in company of their leaders, toured the facility, expressing joy to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the state government for the dramatic turn in healthcare delivery in the state. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has expressed readiness to participate in hosting the 32nd Annual General Meeting of the African Export-Import Bank, scheduled for Abuja in June this year. She gave the assurance when the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, briefed her on preparations for the event at her official office at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
Between the 23rd and 27th of June this year, African heads of state and other policymakers within and outside the continent will converge in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, for the 32nd Annual General Meeting of the African Export-Import Bank. A successful hosting of the AGM is quite symbolic for Nigeria as the event rounds off the successful tenure of the current president of the bank, Professor Benedict Orama, a Nigerian.
First Lady of the Federal.
This four-man delegation, led by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, is at the office of the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, to formally invite her to participate in hosting the event and ensuring its success.
These dignitaries, including heads of state, do bring their spouses with them. We would like you, Your Excellency, with all our support and help, to host a one-day event for the spouses, a spouses event. We would expect it to include, as you can imagine, things like a cultural outing and perhaps a lunch or a dinner occasion. Afri-Exim Bank itself will sponsor a philanthropy program.
We are all set.
The invitation was met with enthusiasm from the First Lady, who immediately sprang into action, offering preliminary suggestions.
I would have loved a lot of tourist centers to introduce to them, but that's what we need to have in Abuja. I was just trying to at least to shorten my list and see where we can go and just make it short, not too stressful. We can do special carrier bags for them, which will state the events why they are here in Nigeria.
Already captured in a plan is a philanthropic visit by visiting spouses of heads of state to the newly constructed Nanaberi Orphanage in Nasarawa State.
We would have commissioned Nanaberi then, the children would have moved in, so it would be a good place for them to also be able to enjoy some of the charity benefits that they can get from Afri-Exim Bank, and it will be a good site for them to visit.
Established in 1993, Afri-Exim Bank has a strong presence in Nigeria with its African Trade Center springing up in Abuja, while its Quality Assurance Center, situated in Ogun State, supports export of Nigerian products in the State House. Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
The Ministry of Livestock Development is wooing investors into livestock value chain to unlock the benefits lying fallow in the industry. Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Miha, made the commitment while inaugurating the first indigenous salt lick factory in Zaria, Kaduna State. Yusuf Jika reports.
Salt lick is a block of salt or mineral-rich substance specifically designed for animals to lick, providing them with essential minerals that might be lacking in their diet. Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Miha, said the ministry is creating an enabling environment for such enterprising initiatives to thrive, leveraging on public-private partnership.
This unveiling also reflects our broader mission to modernize the livestock sector. From developing grazing reserves to promoting climate-stable practices and empowering rural youth, we are determined to unlock the full potentials of this industry.
Emir of Zazzau, Ahmad Nuhu Bamali, described Nigeria's livestock industry as a gold mine, calling on all to invest into livestock farming for self and national development.
We hope to also join the queue of animal farming. Probably maybe after this, we'll key into that vision, to start, coming round to buy this product so that at least we'll move away from peasant farming, to commercial farming.
Speakers at the event said the factory is a new vista for animal health and nutrition that will further transform the livestock industry. In Kaduna, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
Now let's join Benny Adams for more on the world of business. Benny.
Thank you, Olajide. Talking business, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Jumoke Oduole, says Nigeria's trade beyond its borders is critical to the country's economic growth and development. Alika Okpanachi Arwa reports that the minister stated this at an exhibition in Abuja as part of activities marking the International Women's Day.
Whichever trade fairs you want to go to, around Africa or around the world, let us know. We'll be there with you.
We have also embarked on certification. I'm sure some of you have started benefiting from certification. In the last 2 months, we've done about 105, and we've embarked on another one.
If women in trade are unleashed, we can diversify the economy away from oil and achieve a great leap forward. Women in politics, it's well evident, more women in political life can increase a country's GDP by 10 to 20%.
Standing here, I'm a beneficiary of the ITC Street Trade Program. We recently just came back from Zimbabwe. I think the government is doing their best. We want more, but as it is, they are doing well.
And still talking women in a similar development, the WTO Women Entrepreneurs in Digital Economy Fund, WADE, has chosen Nigeria, the Dominican Republic, Jordan, and Mongolia as pilot countries for upcoming projects to empower women-led businesses through digital trade.
The WADE Fund has already raised $22 million with an ambitious goal of reaching $50 million. Working closely with ITC, we have designed a hands-on, results-driven approach. That is why in our first 4 partner countries, the WADE Fund will kick off with business plan competitions, giving women entrepreneurs a chance to access tailored financial and technical support. Applications will open in these countries, inviting women entrepreneurs to submit their business plans and proposals.
The Nigeria Export Promotion Council, which has been selected to serve as the implementing agency for the WADE project in Nigeria, has been playing crucial roles in enhancing economic opportunities for Nigerian women. Today, increasing number of Nigerian women traders are utilizing digital solutions in informal trade. I am confident that the women entrepreneurs in the digital economy project will further enhance the technical and managerial capacities of women entrepreneurs in Nigeria, strengthen their market linkages, and propel their growth.
Thank you all for being here, and I'm really actually excited.
Now, the federal government says with ongoing reforms and interventions to strengthen the grid, Nigeria will surpass the current peak generation and transmission of power. Nigeria's power sector recently celebrated 6,003 megawatts of power on the grid, the historic milestone which the managing director of Niger Delta Power Holding Company, Jennifer Adigije, says the federal government will accelerate the feat to ensure availability of electricity.
Renewed goals. Let's continue to set very ambitious goals, very lofty goals, and let's continue to pursue those goals. And you can't strike a target if you do not aim at the target. We must continue to set those targets, aim at those targets, and hit those targets. And we can do this. We can do it as a team. So I'll continue to urge you to demonstrate capacity.
Quick look at the market. The market is in red, reversing yesterday's gains on sell-offs in both industry and financial institutions stocks, to include NTA, Afriprod, NB, talking about Nigerian breweries, Access Co, Zenith Bank, and 25 others. This has led to investors losing about 284.4 billion naira, though it's a buying opportunity for investors. Same goes for South Africa. The South Africa JSE Top 40 is also in red, down by 0.24%. Same goes for the Tunisia Tune Index, down by 0.43%. to close at 10,651.03 basis point. Well, this is it on business. Olajide, you can take it from here.
Many thanks, Benny, there keeping us up to speed in the world of business. Moving on now, member representing Tudunwada Doguwa Federal Constituency Al-Hassan Adodoguwa has distributed food and cash palliative to the vulnerable to enable them observe Ramadan fast with ease. Yohannes Hassan Barrow reports that the beneficiaries cut across Tudunwada and Doguwa local government areas of Kano State.
The people of Tudunwada and Doguwa local government areas turned out in large numbers to the distribution center to receive much-needed relief items. It was a timely gesture, and the communities expressed deep gratitude to their representative for the support. A total of 5,000 bags of 50 kg rice and 10,000 bags of 25 kg rice were distributed to vulnerable residents in Tudunwada and Doguwa Federal Constituency to alleviate hardship during the Ramadan fast. In addition, Representative Al-Hassan Adodoguwa disbursed 135 million naira to thousands of beneficiaries. Among those who benefited was Abbas Shuaibu, who went home with a bag of rice, bringing relief to his household.
He used to do it always.
May he continue to progress in life. We will continue to vote him again and again. While presenting the food items and cash donations, Representative Al-Hassan Adodoguwa stated that the initiative was his way of contributing to the well-being of his people and easing their economic burdens.
I would like, therefore, at this point, to use this opportunity on behalf of my entire members of my federal constituency to thank and commend His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, under the ruling APC, for the support he has continuously given to the members of the National Assembly, including myself, to come down and support the generality of our people.
The people of Tudunwada and Doguwa Federal Constituency say they deeply appreciate this intervention as it has brought much-needed relief in a time of need. In Kano, Yohannes Hassan Barrow, NTA News.
And time to join Hingido in Lagos for stories making the rounds from the Center of Excellence. Good evening, Hingido. Over to you.
Thank
Thank you, Olajide, and welcome to Lagos. Africa must step away from inherent colonial models of administration and think long-term while forming regional alliances that will diversify growth and initiate developmental strategies that are sustainable, utilizing its human, natural and capital resources for the continent to achieve its developmental goals. This is the consensus of participants at the 2025 Obafemi Awolowo webinar. Lanre Belei has details.
The 2025 Obafemi Awolowo webinar, chaired by His Excellency former President of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, began with a highlight by the Executive Director of Obafemi Awolowo Foundation, Ambassador Oluwatokunbo Dosunu Awolowo.
Our theme today invites us to engage in a critical discourse on the challenges and opportunities that define our era, while drawing lessons from our journey so far in this 21st century.
Keynote speaker Jeffrey Sachs and other guest speakers observed that Africa and the world at large is currently experiencing complex and evolving challenges, and that African big economies need to nurture and cultivate leaders that can tackle the continent's challenge of development and adopt more sustainable goals.
Africa can accomplish a high rate of investment of at least 40% of GDP per year, just like China has done, but it requires a strategy, and the strategy needs to be at the union level, in my view.
You've got to understand economic philosophy, and you've got to understand political economy, the impact of political events and processes on economic events.
The virtual seminar also urged African nations to stop depending on the international community for economic and political salvation. They also discussed the advent of artificial intelligence, its impact on socioeconomic and global governance. In Lagos, Lanre Belei, NTA News.
To speed up the realization of sustainable development goals and the economic prospects of the West African sub-region, ECOWAS parliamentarians are recommending adoption of uniform health and education reforms that will enhance the capacity and well-being of citizens. Joel Pupola reports that this initiative is part of efforts towards achieving regional integration and human capital development.
West Africa is one of the richest regions on the continent, with abundant mineral resources and population estimated at over 400 million and still growing fast. Experts say it is time for the region to deepen synergy to harness resources for economic advancement. The ECOWAS Parliament believes paying attention to education and health, which are currently backward, will ensure West Africa keeps pace with the rest of the world, especially with 15% of the budget of members going to education and health.
High time for us to make sure that we try to create that advocacy to talk to institutions so that we can try to harmonize, our policies on education to tailor-made to get desired results. Because education right now, I think it's high time for Africa and also, of course, our West African region to reprioritize and look into our education curriculum that are geared toward problem solving in our community, not just the conventional way or the colonial way of education.
But talking about health and education is interrelated. So to talk about issues relating to the health sector, I think that one is laudable, and we are going to tap into these facilities that they have stated, and also talking in terms of health, because we are still, as I have stated, health is wealth.
Having a uniform developmental agenda, legislators say, aligns with the ideals of ECOWAS and puts the region in a vantage position. With the population of West Africa expected to reach 600 million by 2050, human capital development experts agree should be prioritized. In Lagos, Joel Pupola, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos. Network News will continue with Olajide after the break.
Many thanks for being there. The Minister of State's Petroleum Resources, Gas Ekweremadu, has applauded the Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, and called for fast-tracking the completion of the PTDF Center for Skills Development and Training in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The minister, during a visit, highlighted its potential to improve in technical and vocational education in the oil and gas sector. Lydia Sampson has more.
The PTDF Center for Skills Development and Training, located in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, is projected to provide employment opportunities for youths in the Niger Delta and Nigeria at large, bringing immense benefits across the entire oil and gas spectrum. It is a critical project in achieving the PTDF oil and gas domestication policy in line with President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda. Taking the minister on a tour of the center, PTDF Executive Secretary Ahmed Galadima Aminu wheeled out the inherent ripple effects and said that PTDF will continue to work closely with all stakeholders to achieve the goals of improving the oil and gas sector.
The next time I come here, I want to come and see students, instructors, and the place will be lively, and so that we achieve the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, giving hope to the people, the youth, the elders, and of course the women. I equally commend NCDMB for assisting in the completion of the tower building.
The Center for Skills Development and Training offers training in oil and gas related skills, including welding, fabrication, heavy duty and automotive repair, construction, masonry, plumbing, carpentry, ICT labs, basic electrical works, and basic requirements in health, safety, and environment. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.